So we're here to talk a little about cybersecurity. I gotta say, so we provide cyber insurance. Our job is to think about like the worst case scenario all day. I can't say we have a playbook for the alien invasion, so I'm excited to learn some things. Why don't we go down the line here and just, if you guys could give 1 to 2 minutes on your project, where you're at in your journey, and if you have an angle on how your product would help you survive the alien invasion, hit on that too.
I'm Izzo, Wane, co-founder of a company called Blockstep. I like to call myself a troublemaker. My best friend in the world is in Germany. His name is Carsten. He's worked for Deutsche Telekom. I work for AT&T. And we set out to kind of disrupt the telecom industry for years. Our previous startup was called SIMless. So if you have a phone today with eSIM, and if you heard about eSIM and iSIM, we were pioneers in that space. We sold the company in 2018, 2 months before iPhone came out with eSIM. And since then, we said, what's the next big thing in telecom? And we literally stumbled upon Helium. We liked what they were doing. But when we stepped back, so okay, well, these guys are jumping to mobile networks. Generally, they don't have really, fundamentally, like telecom, when you talk about telecom, the way operators control things is really the same. So if you're gonna say decentralized network, this and that, but actually your SIM and your network is not decentralized, you're not building it. Like putting antennas everywhere is not decentralized networks, right? So as a troublemaker, and even now we say, you know what, let's show them how to do it. So we essentially built a 5G system today that's completely decentralized. The way you authenticate to networks is completely different. And we've been showing it to telecom folks, we've blown people's mind, and we kind of say, you know what, this is where we think it's going to be 6G. So that's kind of, it's a long-term plan for us to kind of build Blockstep, and I'm very excited to be here and share that with you guys.
My name is Addiel Lopez. I'm CEO of Quantium. We are a decentralized blockchain, specifically catered to the DeFi space. We also have a product that sits as a layer 2 on top of this decentralized blockchain, which is Quantum Wi-Fi, which is a peer-to-peer decentralized network where individuals can buy and sell bandwidth between them. We've spent the last year and a half developing a quantum safe encryption protocol that allows us to compete in the marketplace by offering a product that is resilient with current encryption technology and encryption moving forward.
Hey guys, good evening. So I'm Susmit, co-founder and CTO at Hedge.com. So at Hedge, what we are doing is basically we are developing a cryptoeconomic protocol that can coordinate the computational and bandwidth resources of normal users to provide real-time communication minutes. Now these real-time communication minutes are so powerful that any community members can build a decentralized Zoom, a decentralized Slack, or a decentralized Twitter Spaces. So we already have this product called a decentralized Zoom called Huddle01, which is live and running, and it has already completed 1 million minutes down to the road, and it is now on the run to complete 2 million minutes of the meeting. The other is like Twitter Spaces, clone, which is we call Audio Spaces, and it is being currently live in many Web3 Twitter like Blue Sky and Lensters out there.
So I'm very dumb among these people. So my name is Awan. I am CEO of Wane. We provide secure cell phone services. So this phone, if anyone knows SIM swapping, happens a lot. Happened to me 4 times, started a company around it. Today we secured every major exchange, every major fund in the space. I think 40% of active Fortune 100 company users. Nothing to do with a lot of decentralization. But in the past, I built a company called Access. If you have ever used a Bitcoin ATM, there's a likelihood you have used our product. We have 10,000 locations across US, and we went public last month. And so we do mobile security for all the important people in the space. And I tried to do a decentralized network, I failed. So.
Awesome. All right. So I'm going to start from what feels like the most near-term threat to me, and then we're going to kind of go out into the future. So I'm going to start a little bit with, let's see, Susmit, you talked about, when we spoke earlier, how your technology can help prevent phishing attacks. Could you help me understand that a little bit?
Yep. So first we need to understand like how our internet works, right? So our internet right now is transport encrypted. right? It is not content encrypted. So transport encrypted means like if we both are conversing over internet, so our transport is encrypted, but the content is something I can see, right? So suppose Haseeb. So Haseeb is a server, right? So the channel between us, the communication that we are having, that is encrypted, but Haseeb can see all the data. It is not content encrypted. So we need to update this technology. So at least what we need is both content encryption and transport encryption. The other thing that is problematic is like your IP. Yeah, your IP, if it is UDP, you are very prone for IP spoofing, right? And again, it's like a major privacy concern out there. But we have this technology with IPFS or protocol we have developed. It is called CIDs, CIDs, content. Forgot what the full form of that is. But we can use that tech to basically mitigate, make this content as like hash of that content, right? So what we need on internet is basically that content. But what IP exposes is your location, right? So like if I want something, like if I want a image of a dog, right, of a cat, so I want that cat image. So it might be with him or it might be with you, right? But the way it is done on internet right now is that first I will find your location and then I will go to your location and then I will drive that cat. So which is like we need to go to OSI modules to actually make this much more better and much more secure.
So let's talk a little bit about, there's two of you are kind of around SIM cards today. I know every time I use SMS or 2FA, I'm like, okay, I really need to change this. And maybe we'll start with Haseeb. You know, if you could tell me, like, what do the most sophisticated people do today to protect themselves? And I believe you had a personal experience with this.
They use my company, so that's why. Anyway, that's a funny answer. But the challenge with SMS 2FA, it's fundamentally broken. It was never meant for security. We talk about SIM swapping, there are like maybe hundreds of other attacks that can happen. And frankly, like, you know, I don't want to bore, but it sounds, basically it's built on SNL attack, but somebody was talking like, you know, there's fundamentally the tunnels are broken. You know, the foundation of SMS is broken. So regardless of whatever you build on top, you know, there's no basis to that. So the challenge is you can have DNS, you can fundamentally intercept even though you use the SMS. Attacks are very rare to find, it's very expensive to do, but they are broken. So first of all, please, for the love of God, whatever you do, I don't get paid for it. Change SMS two-factor authentication wherever you can. If you find someone here, just say, I'll take 5 minutes and just change their end. Tell them how to use a hardware key, or if you can afford, tell me, I'll ship it to you, right? But please, all use Auth or like authenticator. Please do it, right? That's the one thing that you do. Other thing that people do a lot of mistake is that they set up a, you know, like they set up a 2FA, but still the backup is still telephone number, right? That is a big critical too. And the one thing that people do a lot of mistake in crypto, they change their number and they let the previous number expire. And what happens is the previous number goes to database. It's like domain, when domains drop, people pick up those numbers and then they find out how the numbers are linked to a specific person and they get into account. We see this all day long, right? So I think one of the biggest threat to crypto is security, because people talk about, oh, I can't do the security, but people lose all their money. Like, you know, we talk about banks a lot, but if I use my credit card and it gets stolen, you know, I can call my bank and get it blocked. Crypto, there's nothing like that. So fundamentally, SMS is broken, regardless of whoever service you want to use it, right? Like iMessage, we don't have control over it. You get a phishing attack on iMessage, I can't do anything. There are Pegasus hack level hacks, those happen, we cannot. The DNS, MZ catcher, I can talk more about that. But fundamentally, please change, get rid of SMS 2FA. And some banks allow you to put a limit on your account that you cannot have a $20,000, $10,000 more than it. But make sure that spend 5 minutes or 10 minutes and your phone is not connected to anything. You know, that's fundamental. People, you know, sometimes people do like $1 million trading in their phone, right? I can't believe like how stupid they are. You know, like it breaks my heart, right? When we talk about like, you know, today, every day, there is millions of hacks, $1 million worth of funds are stolen because they were on their family plan. You know, like what it takes. So please do this. Again, I don't make money off it. Please do it because it's a free application. It takes 5 minutes.
I would just, for the entrepreneurs in the room, like, please encourage your employees to do the same thing.
Absolutely. Anyone.
The claims that we see, the two most common risk factors are typically SIM swapping and some form of phishing attack.
I'll talk to you about insurance policy, cybersecurity. We have to get cybersecurity insurance. I'll talk to you about that. It's crazy to the roof. Like, companies do not even give you cybersecurity insurance anymore because stupidity, right? Like, it's so simple that LogMeIn got hacked today. It's such a big company because they had, I think, password was password. Like, you know, like, can you believe it's such a big company? It's such a big company and they got hacked today. And so, and companies like these, you know, they have challenge. I believe you guys would have probably the same challenges where you can't assess the risk. What's the risk?
Well, the quick side note on that is the single most predictive thing about cyber risk is actually management and leadership. If you've got strong management, leadership, and culture, that pervades throughout the organization because it's your people that are ultimately your biggest risk.
But how do you underwrite a risk? I don't want to be third.
We'll pick that up later. We got more important stuff to talk about. So Izzo, you're trying to change that dynamic, right? Help me understand what that could look like.
Absolutely. Again, I like to say I'm a troublemaker. So, as a student of the industry, I think the past 20 years I've been working mobile. At the core, you were absolutely right. It's broken. And why? Because telecom, if you go to AT&T, I used to work with AT&T, they don't build anything. They're not innovative anymore. They buy from other vendors. And guess what? The whole telecom infrastructure using technologies from the 80s and 90s. They haven't changed since then. But if you please open your wallet today, the bank card you have has a chip. Well, guess what? That's the same chip that's on your phone today. That's the chip that allows you to connect to the networks. But guess what? Visa and MasterCard don't. Because if you go there in the campuses, they have PhDs, they're innovating. They're not like the telcos. And in 2001, when you had e-commerce and Amazon, everything, guess what they said? You know what? We're going to have a lot of intermediaries out there. The primary account number in your bank card today, the 16-digit number, it's going to go through multiple parties. And we need to tokenize it. So guess what? We didn't invent tokenization here in this whole blockchain industry. Tokenization is something that payment industry has been using. In fact, every time you pay with your wallet, with your bank card, on e-commerce, it's not using your 16-digit number. It's using actually a token. And so the idea was, okay, let's look at telecom. Today, what you talk about, the mobile number. Well, guess what? In that chip, it's an operating system. It has application, they're called Java called application. There are files, there's a file called MSICN, MISDN for people that are in the industry. Well, MISDN means phone number. And this MISDN is optional file inside a SIM card, but it's somewhere in the database of the network operator. So it's really loosely coupled. And first we thought about it, so well, today your IMSI is like your bank card number. There's a key inside the SIM that goes always through networks, highly centralized, and that's why I was talking about Helium reinventing the industry. Great, but you have to reinvent the whole network, starting with the SIM, which is the control point. That's the highly centralized element. And first we said, guess what? We can tokenize this IMSI and this KI. Therefore, we're not sharing that information with the network. But in order to do that, we have to reinvent everything. That's what Visa and MasterCard have been doing for the past 20 years. They completely tokenize their infrastructure, digitize, to support that. That's why it's working well today at scale with the Apple Wallet. But in order for us to decentralize mobile networks, start preventing those type of attacks from SIM swap, being able to roam across multiple millions of private networks that are decentralized, we need to decentralize the SIM. And that's kind of the solution that Blockcell bringing to market.
Why don't you talk about something you're actually excited about? I mean, no.
Sorry?
No. You got so much energy. I love it.
Yeah, I'm passionate about it, and I think I'm just trying to. I'm excited about decentralized networks. So I was in Africa and I've seen whole screen swapping is happening not through just celebrities like Jack Dorsey in the US. It's happening through regular people over there. It's real, and I'm like, oh my God, the technology we're building really can help solve that problem. But I feel like the blockchain industry, we talk too much about cryptocurrency, crypto that. It's almost a distraction, right? Crypto is not cryptocurrency. Crypto is cryptography, okay? So for that, we need to think in a way that if we're gonna change industry, we talk about DePIN, we need to think in terms of saying, what is this infrastructure looks like? We need to study that industry and then say, how do we bring cryptography in a way that's decentralized way, not just throw some crypto to it and say, oh, this is a decentralized network. So maybe that's why I'm upset about it, because I feel like the whole crypto narrative is sort of potentially destroying what could be a great technology that could change the world, the life of billions of people around the world.
Good stuff. All right. So, Addiel, let's talk about, I heard, the books, I think the Dark Forest books were mentioned earlier, where the alien species is using, quantum entanglement to spy on humanity, right? But the risk that quantum computing presents is not necessarily that far out, right? People are preparing for that reality today. Help me understand, how does your technology, help to protect people, and where do you see the nearest term risk coming from?
So I'm not familiar with the book, although I know that it sells, one of Sal's items on his reading list. The graph that you're actually looking on the projector is one of the most accurate interpretations of where we are right now and where the industry of encryption is heading in the next 5 to 7 years. We're looking at, based on current trajectory, losing RSA and AES encryption within the next 7 to 8 years, based on the speed in which we're developing quantum technologies and obviously improving the level of error correcting on these quantum technologies. What does that mean? That means that within that time period, you no longer have privacy. It'll affect your banking records, it'll affect your Amazon account, your credit card statements, pretty much everything. And that's one of the main driving forces behind Quantinium. We see the Wi-Fi and the internet component as the easiest delivery medium for this encryption technology versus positioning it as a security as a service type of offering. And so far the market's spoken. I mean, we're 6 months away from product, and we've been extremely well received with a little over 1 million subscribers currently waiting for the product. So yeah, we're big advocates of quantum security and improving that level of encryption across the marketplace.
That's great. What about your prior experience kind of developing networks helped inform this? You've had a lot of experience building networks in really challenging places. How'd that lead to this?
20 years in telecom. I built one of the largest WISPs in North America, 2.2 million subscribers across 26 markets. And some of the challenges and issues that I saw within that particular industry translated over to what we're doing right now, which is a pure software offering, no hardware, bring your own device, join the network, and join the community.
There's no question, guys.